The Boston Celtics bench finally came alive last night as we saw a fantastic performance on the defensive side of the ball, and we saw great performances from Payton, Pritchard, Luke Kornet, and Sam Hauser. We're going to dive in looking at how underappreciated they are to this Celtics team and to the league and how they can make a big impact with this team. We'll also be looking at Jaylen Brown deserving the respect he has from the All-Star break, hyping him up, and also looking at Jrue Holiday being an effective defender for this team. All of that and more on this episode of Celtics Digest. I'm Bruce Veliz. But without further ado, let's dive in. Let's get ready to get into all of this Celtics news. Make sure to grab a snack as it is going to be a jam-packed episode. And the first topic we'll be diving at hand today is some quick shoutouts. We're going to be shouting out an ex-Boston Celtic and looking at a Celtic who's been performing exceptionally well on the defensive side of the floor. The first person we're going to be looking at is the ex-Celtic, and that is Dalano Banton. In his last two games, he has notched back-to-back 25-point games and netting his second and third of his career, getting his career high in his last game, getting 30 points. We want to look 30 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 3-pointers, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and 5 3-pointers. Now, in one of those games, I ain't going to lie to you guys, Dalano Banton shot 10 for 27 from the field. He was shot chucking, but in last night's game, put up 9 for 16 from the field to score 25 points, which is a very, very exceptional field goal percentage for a guy who wasn't really known for being a great offensive creator, wasn't really known for, being able to do that shot. We couldn't really see that on this Celtics team, and I'm wishing him the best of luck. I'm glad that he's able to find a role with this Blazers team, especially with Malcolm Brogdon going down for a little bit, having to nurse that injury. Dalano Banton's actually finding a role for a young rebuilding team and could actually, ensure himself a long-term stay. Obviously, the Celtics will be taking on the Blazers on Monday night to play versus them in Portland, so we'll get to see a little bit of a Dalano Banton revenge game, get to see how he reacts. Let me know what you guys think about Dalano Banton in the comment section down below. And another quick shout out here is to our boy Jrue Holiday, who's been exceptional on the defensive side of the floor. This is a quote here from Bobby Kravitsky asking Joe Mazzulla about Jrue Holiday, and he says that Jrue Holiday is awesome for his emotional stability, something that reflected his approach against a red-hot Kevin Durant, making him work for tough twos often late in the shot clock and embracing a low usage rate on the offense. His emotional stability is to be able to play the game. I've said it all year. When you watch him play, you can never tell if he's taken 2 shots, 5 shots, no shots, if he's gotten scored on, or if he's not getting scored on. The thing I liked about tonight is he just took ownership of the defense, and he recognized when to make the adjustment, and that's important for us. His ability to kind of stay the course is an underlying leadership quality for our team. And Joe Mazzulla, you hit the nail on the coffin with this one because you are 100% correct. We saw in last night's game, versus the Phoenix Suns, that guys like Derrick White and Jrue Holiday kind of took that playmaking role, kind of stood up into that playmaking role compared to Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum, which we had seen in recent contests, and it was clearly working. Derrick White was playing that fantastic point guard, ball handling, getting all those assists. I believe he had a total of 6 assists in the first quarter, and then we had some great performances as well from Jrue Holiday, like we mentioned, on the defensive side of the ball, really locking in and finding that out. And I really like what Joe Mazzulla said. You don't know if he's taking 1 shot, 3 shots, 5 shots, if he's getting scored on, if he doesn't, because this man gives his all 100% of the time. If he's shooting a corner 3, you basically know it's going in, but everywhere that he's shooting, he's giving it his best effort, and especially on that defensive side of the ball, he's really locked in as a defensive anchor. If we want to look at his advanced stats, as you guys can see, he's obviously a crafted defensive player of a 77% metric, but if we look at all of these stats, they are all top 65 percentage for a guy who's a small guard besides rim frequency, which we understand. But his deflections, his defensive rebounding, his rim defense, his block percentage, his versatility, being able to guard 1 through 5 is in the 98th percentile, which clearly shows that Jrue Holiday can guard guys from Kevin Durant, from the team's best guard and Bradley Beal, to even their center. And we even saw that with the Denver Nuggets past 2 games, where he was guarding Nikola Jokic on some possessions and willingly wanting to, sending Kristaps Porzingis off, saying, I got this. And for me, that's what you want to see. He's already, in my opinion, even though Marcus Smart was my favorite Boston Celtics on the squad, he's a better version of that, being able to hit more 3-pointers at a consistent rate, have a better shooting percentage, but also being able to lock in and be dialed in on that defensive side of the ball. I'm truly ecstatic that the Celtics were able to nab a guy like Jrue Holiday, and they should be able to extend him for the future and keep him up long term because he wants to stay as well. What are your guys' thoughts and opinions down below? Let me know, because I think he gets a little bit disrespected because people just look at the box scores, see that he doesn't score 12 to 15 points, and they get frustrated. This man is the 4th, 5th option on this offensive squad, and if he locks in and wants to be the best defender on this team, that's what we need as well. Let's continue. Let's get into some more topics at hand as the Celtics bench stepped up big time defensively versus the Phoenix Suns yesterday, and we got to talk about it because Joe Mazzulla was giving these guys their praise, and I'm right there with them. I will be honest with you guys. I've been a big fan of Payton Pritchard since the preseason. I thought he could have a possibility of winning Sixth Man of the Year. Obviously, that's not happening. Luke Kornet, I was a little 50-50 on, but in the games he's looked good. He's shown me throughout the season that he can be a guy that can stick with this squad. And a guy like Sam Hauser completely turned me off in the offseason, but then when the season started, he completely flipped a 180 on me, and now he's one of my favorite players and most underappreciated players on this Celtics squad. And Joe Mazzulla had a quote to say about these guys, saying that he praised them, saying that they were amazing, they were tremendous. I thought Payton changed the game with his defense. Him and Sam are both known for being offensive guys, but it's their defense that really helped us out this year, and that is 1,000% the truth. If you guys watch these games, you guys can see that Payton Pritchard in his last couple games and throughout the whole season, offensively has been all right, but he's always been a great offensive player. These guys really have locked into that defensive ability and have shown it. We've seen Sam Hauser be effective at blocking at the rim and defending at the rim. Even Payton Pritchard being able to, get by screens and be able to work through certain guys, and that's what you want to see. And Luke Kornet as well might not be the most fundamentally sound defender, but he can get that Kornet contest, and he can be an impactful guy for this squad on the defensive side of the ball, as we clearly saw last night, as he has those long arms to get those blocks against those longer defenders. If we want to look at the box score from last night, you guys can see that they all finished with a plus 10 plus minus on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, which clearly shows that they were both playing both sides of the ball. Luke Kornet, like we mentioned, 14 total points last night, 6 total rebounds, 3 offensive rebounds, tied the most on the team, which was absolutely fantastic. Payton Pritchard had a total of 10 total points as well with 2 rebounds. Payton Pritchard has been a guy who's always fought for those offensive rebounds as well. A 6'1", 6'2" guard, being able to jump and try to get those offensive rebounds is something key that you want to see with this squad, and proves that he's working hard on both sides of the ball. Ultimately, in my opinion, I think that they're very, very disrespected because sometimes they have bad shooting nights. Like last night, Sam Hauser didn't have the greatest shooting night, but he played exceptionally well on the defensive side of the ball, and that's where you have to credit them. These guys might not be your standout role players. They might not be your X-factor role guys, but these guys are going to do their job and find their role that they specifically need to do to help the Celtics win and succeed, and we clearly saw that in last night's victory. Like I mentioned, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about those guys. And right before we get into the next topic, I want to let you all know that on tomorrow night, we'll be having another post-game live breaking down the Portland Trailblazers and Boston Celtics game. I know it's going to be a late one on the East Coast. The game start at 10:30, but we will be live between 12:30, 1 in the morning, breaking down my post-game reactions and yours. If you find that interesting or find that fun, make sure to tune in and join the live stream tomorrow night. If you can't tune in, if it's too late, no worries. We all have live streams for every post-game game, so make sure to be able to tap into some other ones throughout the week. But without further ado, let's dive into this last topic at hand, which is respect Jaylen Brown. Now, the Jaylen Brown respect, I ain't gonna lie, was very, very low at the beginning of the season. When people saw that he signed this contract, there were a lot of haters and a lot of doubters. But in recent weeks, since the All-Star break and since post-All-Star break, since Jaylen Brown has truly turned up and turned on another gear for this Celtics squad, the fans are starting to respect him. The media is starting to respect him a little bit more. But everybody needs to realize how dominant he is for this team. If we want to look this tweet right here from NBA University, we can see that over the last 15 games, Jaylen Brown has a 66.7 field goal percentage on 8.2 half-court drives per game. Highest efficiency in the NBA. He's also turned the ball over on 3.1% of those drives, as he's been an efficiency bomb attacking off the dribble in the half-court since February 1st. And like I mentioned, like this tweet has mentioned, Jaylen Brown has been excelling at that way of scoring, being that, tenacious driver to the rim. If the Celtics threes aren't falling, like we've seen where's the 76ers where they were just guarding them, the Celtics attacked that paint and Jaylen Brown absolutely cooked that game. We've seen that since post All-Star break, and Jaylen Brown has kind of found his rhythm as one of the best first half scorers in the NBA, and I believe has the most points in the first quarter across the NBA as well. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I know that Jaylen Brown is averaging at least over 18 points since the All-Star break in every first half. He's also putting up fantastic stats like this one. Jaylen Brown has averaged 28.1 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 3.5 assists in 8 games since the All-Star game, which is just an absolute crazy stat to see. 28 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists in 8 games. He's clearly showing out, clearly proving that he needs to be a centric of this squad. And if the threes aren't falling, if the 3-game isn't working, we have another game plan, a scheme to attack with. I really like how Jaylen Brown attacks the rim, plays with that, finds his role of attacking the mid-range and excelling at that. Like I mentioned, if we want to look at the box score from last night, we can see 10 for 21 from the field. Yes, he's not the greatest three-point shooter, but he did take 7, made 3 of them. The free throws are definitely something we're going to have to work on if we're Jaylen Brown. If we're going to be wanting to attack that rim, we're going to be getting those calls. That's something we have to really, really work on. But putting up 27 points last night, putting up a season high of 41 points the game before versus Denver, even though they lost. He clearly has locked in, showed this Celtics squad that he is this impactful scorer and can be an impactful defender as well. And I truly think, you guys can let me know what you guys think down below, but I think he deserves everybody's respect. From the media standpoint, we need to witness that he is playing his best basketball right now. He's performing at a great level, and he's not turning the ball over. That's one of the main concerns of the Celtics and Celtics fans. 3% of those drives, he's turning the ball over. That's just absolutely fantastic. He's keeping control of that ball, and he's working at a great clip. Let me know what you guys think about all this Celtics news down below in the comments section. I'm Bruce Veliz, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.